Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video from well-loved Aussie band Cold Chisel. And through this song, When the War Is Over, I talked about the fact that sometimes in relationships, when we've had all those words and everything else, we need to start again together. So trust you found that one an encouragement. Well, we're going to one of the biggest acts in the world today. These guys were formed in London in 1996, and when Chris Martin, Guy Berryman, Will Champion, and Johnny Buckland got together, they thought, hey, there's just something here, let's form a band. And so Coldplay came into existence. Now, between 2000 and 2019, they've released 8 studio albums, 6 live albums, 47 videos, 38 singles, and it's estimated they've sold over 100 million albums. And they have toured, there's been 7 worldwide tours in that time. When these guys perform, they pack out stadiums, 40, 50,000 people back when we could do that. So much colour, so much life, just a full immersive experience. You don't go to a Coldplay concert, you become immersed into a Coldplay experience. That is for sure. Now, these guys have been nominated 595 times for various awards, and they've won 210, including American Music Awards, ASCAP London Music, and ASCAP Pop Music Awards. You'd expect a lot of awards in the UK, a lot of Brit Awards, BBC Awards, Billboard Music Awards. They've been nominated a few times for Grammy Awards and actually have won 3 times, and so very well regarded in the music industry. These guys just have a way about them. They bring hope, they bring colour, they bring just exuberant live performances. Their shows are just so massive and so big and so technologically advanced that people just can't help but get carried away by them. In fact, there was a DVD they did in Paris, which they recorded, and there was a particular song, I think it was the song Charlie Brown, where they hit the opening chord and everybody's bracelet turns on, and we've got this just sea of colour through the whole stadium. Imagine 40, 50,000 people, all with their stadiums, all with their all of their bracelets on. It's pretty cool. Now, these guys have got some absolutely iconic riffs in their music. You think songs like Yellow and Fix You and Clocks. There are just so many riffs that are just widely recognisable in the world. That is for sure. So Coldplay certainly have deserved the success. They do really go all out for the audiences to give them the best experience that they can. Now, there's one song of Coldplay. I mean, there could be many songs, and I do have a few clips below, but we'll get onto those in a minute, that we could go to with Coldplay, but I've settled on the song Clocks today. Just a beautiful piano part. We know the minute the piano part what song it is, and so that's where we're going today. I was very fortunate to go on a bit of a road trip last week down the southeast of South Australia. The great thing about the southeast of South Australia is we've got beautiful country, we've got beautiful bays, and we've also quite rugged coastline. And as I was watching the waves clipping these rocks, it got me thinking about the things in this world that always seem to be there. When you think about ourselves, to start with, the fact that we breathe in and out often we do that. It shows that we're alive. Our hearts keep beating, bump, thump, 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 without fail. They just keep going. We swallow lots of times a day. That's the human body. When we do talk, when we do open our mouths, words tend to come out quite naturally and easily. Well, in most cases anyway. There are things that we can just take for granted that they're going to happen. But let's go a bit further than that, as it's talking about the waves crashing on the rocks. Now the waves just constantly go crash, 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 crash. Don't stop. The rocks eventually give up because they've been crashed against so many times. But there's a bit of a battle between the rock and the waves, and eventually over time the waves tend to win out. We've got the fact that the moon is there every night. We've got the fact that the stars come out, and certainly where I was down the southeast of South Australia, the stars are very, very bright. The Southern Cross and all of the rest of it. And the moon, whether it's a full moon or a half moon or a crescent moon or whatever sort of moon it is always there. You can always predict every single night it will be there. The sun rising, or as it is in South Australia, in the east and setting in the west. And if we capture a really, really groovy night where there's a sunset, it can be pretty stunning looking at the sun going down, that is for sure. And when the sun goes out, it goes dark. Funny about that. When the sun comes up, it goes light. There are many things in this world that we can take for granted and just know that it's going to happen. Think about clocks. And the great thing about the song Clocks by Coldplay is just the constancy of it. The fact that it's just beautifully in time the whole way through, really accentuating the fact that time just goes on regardless. It has no concern for human beings, really. It just kind of does what it does. And, and the fact that there are 24 hours in a day, and there's 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 60 seconds in a minute, that we can rely on that stuff. There are many things that we can rely on, and it's almost like as human beings we think, well, it doesn't really matter what I do. Well, the world's just going to go on regardless, and, who cares? But there's a great poem said at funerals, what about the dash? You know how on gravestones you see, 1940 to 1990, and what that dash represents? It presents the life that the person lived. How good is your dash right now? Is it just going through the motions, going through a routine and, whatever? Or are you trying to make a positive difference in the world that we live in? Certainly Coldplay have done that with the way they are. I thought, well, we can actually make a positive difference in the world, where we can bring hope and light and colour into it, certainly with our performances and our lyrics. What's your dash like? Are you thinking, well, I'm just going to get the most out of this dash I can for me and forget about everybody else? Or are we going to give all we can to the world, so that when people do talk about you, they can talk about the wonderful positive legacy that you have left? Surely that's what we all want as human beings. There's something that will just carry on after we have gone. So how, yes, we can take stuff for granted, but because we can take things for granted, things like our hearts and our lungs, that then frees us up. We don't have to be thinking, oh, I've got to remember for my heart to beat now. No, we don't have to think that. The heart just does it. The lungs just do it. And because of that, we can then just build on that stuff and really go for life in the way that we want it to go, making the best difference we can. The waves will always crash. The sun will always come out. The moon will always go around the earth. The earth will always go around the sun. This is just what happens in this world. But in your small part of the world, how is your dash? Is it a dash full of hope, a dash of encouraging others, a dash of getting alongside people, a dash of just trying to be the best you can? or is your dash just a bit routine? Whichever way you want to go, I suppose, is totally up to you. But let me just say that a dash full of providing hope and encouragement is a dash that has lived, as opposed to a dash that has just existed. This is what this song Clocks is all about. There's something beautiful about the space, and we might as well get onto the clips actually below. So we do have Clocks. This came from A Rush of Blood to the Head from 2002. This is a live version from the Letterman show, and it's good to see there's not so many people. It's a little bit more of an intimate kind of feel, and you can just see how good these guys are actually being able to keep this song going. We then got Yellow. Now, when I talked about riffs, this is one of the riffs that we just hang out for Johnny to be able to play, and then the minute we get into it, we know where this song is going. Came off the album Parachutes from 2000. That album is one of the biggest sellers of all time in the UK. So it's just got to know the success that these guys have had. We then got Fix You, came off X and Y from 2005. Again, another one, particularly as you get near the end of the song, there's another iconic Johnny Buckland riff in there that people are just hanging out to hear. I'm not sure about the concept of fixing. I'm thinking it's better to walk with somebody. I think it's just something quite compelling about the passion that these guys have. It's just to see their friend going through stuff and to try and help. One of the best things we can do in this world is to walk with, as opposed to trying to fix. Let's open our eyes, open our ears, and keep our mouths closed just a little bit. That's a live version of that one. And I quite like the song Talk. Now, I must admit, this is probably the first Coldplay song I ever heard off the X and Y album as well. Just love the guitar in this one and how it actually sounds, and about talking to each other, communicating with each other, connecting with each other. This is what Coldplay are all about, and very, very important to them. They just don't want to play at their audience. They want their audience to be part of their live experience. That's the official clip. A great story, that one. It's really, really quite a compelling clip. So that one's for there for you to have a look at. And I quite also like Us Against the World. Now, when these guys do this one in the concert, they tend to strip it back a bit. They go a little bit more unplugged, but there's some stunning guitar work in this particular piece. A beautiful melody, great harmonies, just the whole thing. You see Coldplay in a bit more of an intimate style. Came off the Milo Exalotu, I hope I've said that right, album of 2011. There were some massive tours. I can think of the one in Paris. That was very much that tour, and just see how incredible that particular concert was. So all of those, and yes, there are a few, all of those links are in the description below. So feel free to look at all of them or some of them or whatever you would like to do. And I've also included my last video from Cold Chisel. So if you want to look at that one, recap on that one, feel free. So I think the world owes a lot to Coldplay. I think the colour, the hope, the light, the stunning songs, the stunning riffs, just everything that makes Coldplay who Coldplay is. They certainly have deserved the success that they have received, and we'll see where the future lies for these guys. They've been going for a while now. So, 1996, 2016, there's 20 years. So they're coming up to their 25th anniversary, probably very, really soon, actually. So sure there'll be some celebration they can ever do that again, particularly in the UK at the moment. And I suppose this video is recorded around the time that Prince Philip died. His funeral was last night, and certainly my thoughts are for all of those people, the royal family, Queen Elizabeth II, his family, the grandchildren, all of that. My thoughts are well and truly with them, and also with everyone who's just feeling a little bit sad about it. He certainly was a character, that is for sure. So loyal and just so with her the whole time. Really, really compelling stuff. So thank you, Coldplay, for all that you have brought to this world, light, colour and hope. Well, if you come back for another video, thank you very much for doing so. Or this is your first time to Life Reflections through Music, welcome to this channel. You're very, very welcome indeed. And thanks for hanging around to the end. It's always great to get the engagement that we get with that. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to a lovable Australian larrikin, Colin Buchanan, and just a little bit more about him. And so until then, I'll catch you around.